Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Esquire Coaching Radio, where we help attorneys achieve unparalleled personal and professional success. And now here's your host, Ann Jenrette Thomas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Esquire Coaching Radio on the eve of Thanksgiving. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. As you know, Esquire Coaching is a coaching and consulting firm that is dedicated to helping attorneys achieve extraordinary whole life success. And to that end, we discuss the full range of topics from building business to getting a job to work-life balance and everything in between. Today, we have a very special guest who is going to talk to us about such an apropos topic, managing holiday stress. Now, we all know that being a lawyer is already stressful. And when we add to that stress, the stress of the holidays, juggling schedules, managing family, traveling, and just the added pressures of meeting year-end deadlines, things can feel unmanageable. Tonight, our fitness and stress expert, Jason Rodriguez, will discuss healthy stress versus unhealthy stress, how to manage holiday stress, and the importance of using fitness to manage stress. Jason is the founder and director of Fitness Journeys. He is certified by the American Academy of Personal Training, or AAPT. And actually, Jason's story is fascinating, and I'll ask him to fill in the details in a minute. But here's a brief overview. After spending 10 years of his life working in the banking industry, which, the stress levels there are just as rough as lawyers, and watching his family members and coworkers suffer from heart attacks and the like, Jason had an awakening. He wanted to help people and does so now by teaching how to decrease the risks of things such as high blood pressure and heart disease. He dedicated years of his life to really master fitness and opened up Fitness Journeys, which is a home-based personal training service based out of New York City. They offer the convenience of a great workout in the comfort of a person's home. So without any further ado, welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you very much. Just as you stated, I started in the fitness business probably about 14 or 15 years ago, and it was as a result of being surrounded by people who were really stressed out, and myself. What I saw in myself was that I wasn't doing what I loved, and I wasn't following my passion, and you can't be successful without truly following what you're passionate about. And what really the true awakening that I had was when my father had a heart attack, and it was an awakening for me, and it said that basically life is too short. And fortunately for me, my dad is doing quite well now. But what it created was somewhat of an obsession with, learning about exercise physiology and prevention, and basically living life to the fullest. Because, tomorrow's never promised, but at the same time, we have a responsibility to ourselves to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And I guess in your personal story, living life to the fullest for you included starting your own fitness business, right?
Absolutely. I had always been an athlete growing up, but in college, I just became somewhat obsessed with making money because I had this vision of what success was, and that was, making a lot of money. And I felt like, okay, so I just kind of slipped into an economics major and then graduated and went into banking, and I figured, okay, well, I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to be very, very successful. And I found myself making a lot of money, but I didn't feel like I was successful. I felt unfulfilled. And years later, it was a mixture of things that happened, but it was my dad's health first, and then just me doing something that I didn't love. And that sparked me to go to school and study and learn about exercise physiology and fitness, and start Fitness Journeys, which I absolutely love. kind of like I really retired when I started my business because I would do it for free. I mean, unfortunately, I can't. We do need money to live, but I absolutely love what I do, and I find it so rewarding.
And thanks for sharing that about the drive to make money. I think I do see that a lot within the legal profession. It's not everyone, obviously, but, you know, there is that impetus, and sometimes we can get lost in not going for what truly fulfills us. But, you know, one of the reasons why I really wanted you on this show is because when you attended the Esquire Coaching launch event, you spoke so eloquently about stress and how complex it is. So tell our audience a little bit about stress, and in particular, the distinction you make between healthy stress versus unhealthy stress.
Absolutely, be happy to. Really, there's, you know, the stress that we're so familiar with and that we hear about all the time and that causes our health problems is distress, right? So you put that DI in front of it, and it's distress, and that's when we feel like we're just overwhelmed with work or with bad things. That's distress, and this is what can cause health problems and things like heart disease and obesity, and cause headaches, high blood pressure, diabetes. All of these things can be caused by distress. In addition, distress can also cause our pains in our neck, pain in our back, pain in our hamstrings, because when we have a lot of stress, and when I say stress, I'm referring to distress, what happens is our fascia, which is like the saran wrap around your muscle, it tightens, and this can cause pain. And then there's, on the other side of the coin, there's eustress, and that's the good stress. That's things like, oh my God, I have so many parties to go to. I have so many friends. I have so many gifts to buy for Christmas. You know, you have all these pleasurable things to do, but eventually, when you have all these pleasurable things to do, or these parties to go to, or these social events, all of this eustress can then become distress, right? So there's that fine line, you know, and sometimes we think about stress like, oh my gosh, it's something we have to avoid. And in a way that's true, but in a way it's not, because if we look at, you know, let's just take athletes as an example, or take the most stressful situation you've ever had, and then take the best moment in your life, and oftentimes they're the same. Because if I think of my most stressful situation was probably the birth of my first daughter. So that for me was one of the most stressful situations in my life, but also the best situation in my life. And the bottom line is stress oftentimes motivates people to accomplish more if we utilize it in the correct way. The other thing about stress is perception is a huge part of it, because there's no clear-cut definition to what stress is or what defines exactly what it is, because it all has to do with our own perception. So one person could, you know, maybe drop some sauce on their carpet and be like, oh my God, I dropped sauce on my carpet. I'm so stressed out, right? My carpet's ruined. And another person, myself included, would be like, sauce on the carpet, who cares? You know, like, that's how it is, you know. And then I know after, you know, I've trained lawyers for years, and they're stressing about things like billable hours and projects and all of these things. And they're like, oh my God, I have so much work, right? And they think about it, and they think about it to the point, and they stress about it to the point where they almost stop working. And it's almost like you stop functioning. You know, and there's two ways to look at anything. You could look at it like, oh, wow, I have all this work to do. I don't know if I can do it, but it's a challenge. you know. And it's almost like if we use this scenario, we look at Michael Jordan. Probably, obviously, I think everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. The greatest basketball player probably of all time. You look at Michael Jordan in the fourth quarter with, 10 seconds left, and he wants the ball. And he wants the ball because he wants the challenge. And he wants it bad, really bad, because he knows that he's utilizing this, what some person might look at as de-stress, as stress. He's basically manipulating it because that's a very stressful situation, right? Everybody's depending upon you, right? All the fans, all your teammates, everybody's depending upon you, and he's rising to the occasion, and he wants that chance. And we can, there are so many parallels to real life. A lawyer has these projects and this work which needs to get done, and they can look at it and say, oh my God, I just don't know what to do, and start eating away at themselves, or they can say, wow, this is a challenge. I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm going to look at this as a challenge, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And that's how I'm going to deal with it.
I think that's such a healthy tip, in terms of how one might be able to alleviate some stress is to change your perspective. But I want to touch upon something that you talked about because I think it's particularly relevant as we deal with the holidays. You mentioned that distress is the result of overwhelm. So would you say that, I guess, every year there are reports of people becoming more depressed and stressed around the holidays. What about the holidays or this time of year, in your opinion, adds to the stress level or adds to this overwhelm?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, I think people have this view of what the holidays are supposed to be and the way things are supposed to be, and they have this perspective of what's supposed to happen during holiday time. And there's a lot of things, going on during the holidays. So basically, the year is coming to an end. So people have certain things that they wanted to accomplish in the year of 2013, certain projects, certain things that they wanted to get done. And they also have all these social events. Yeah, exactly. And they also have all these social events going on. So they have all these social events, they have gifts to buy, they have all this stuff going on, and they have this picture in their mind of the way things are supposed to be. And this causes a great deal of stress because instead of just kind of sitting back and saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to do what I can do, and having the perspective of, even though I know, this is how I expect things to be, I'm going to appreciate what I have. That's why, I think Thanksgiving, if you really think about the holiday Thanksgiving, it's so amazing. It's almost like, if you really utilize it as a meditation tool, I tell people, different ways in dealing with stress and holiday stress included, is meditation. I mean, because you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, I have so much to do. If you take a moment and you just, for 3 to 5 minutes a day, and I'm not talking about, you don't have to sit in a position with your legs crossed and say, oh, you don't have to do any of that. I'm talking about just thinking about your breath, and appreciating the little things that you have in life. Your health, the fact that you have a job, the fact that you have your health, your family. If you just take 3 to 5 minutes a day and breathe and try to frame your day and say, I'm going to stay optimistic today. No matter what happens, no matter what challenges I face, I'm going to stay optimistic. Because if you maintain an optimistic perspective on things, it's going to help you. It's going to help you not get stressed out because later that day when your boss is on you or your clients are bothering you or whatever's going on and you have all these projects, you're going to remember this morning when you were just breathing, you're going to say, hey, man, a lot of people out there don't have a job. I'm very fortunate and I'm thankful that I have a job, that I have my health, that I'm here, that I'm okay, that I'm able to try to do my very best to take on this challenge. So meditation is, a big part, and I call it meditation, and, some people think of it differently, but I look at it as just breathing. Just take 3 to 5 minutes to breathe, because if you don't, later on, you're just going to, oh, my God, I can't. What's going on? Like, how am I going to do all of these things that I have to do? Another thing that I...
Wait,
Go ahead.
1 second. So just tell our audience a little bit about what happens when they meditate or just take the time to breathe, what actually happens to a person's health or their stress level physiologically.
Well, what you're doing is you're decreasing your stress, you're decreasing your heart rate, you're decreasing your blood pressure, and by doing all of this, by simply breathing 3 to 5 minutes a day and relaxing yourself, you're actually decreasing your chance of obesity, of heart disease, and of getting stressed out later on in the day. So this is why, it's just one example of a manner in which you have the ability to, to maintain that optimistic attitude later on in the day and decrease your overall stress and improve your overall health.
Jason, this is great. So far, I just want to recap for our audience because you've given some really great tips on alleviating stress just as you were talking. You talked about changing perspective, changing your mindset about something to make it less overwhelming or less stressful. You've talked about meditating or just at least, taking a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes to breathe and experience some sense of gratitude for whatever you do have going well in your life, which I think is extremely important. And you're totally right on when you said it's more than just a holiday. It's more than just one day. And you also talked about how people, the reason why they get so stressed out during the holidays in particular is because they have an expectation, an image of what, I'm going to use the word perfection, like what a perfect holiday is.
Exactly. You're absolutely correct.
And so and when they compare themselves to that and they're not meeting that goal or that expectation, they get disappointed. So what other tips do you have to alleviate stress, and in particular holiday stress?
Absolutely. Another thing you can do is shop on Amazon. Because shopping in stores, it gets absolutely crazy. It gets nuts. The parking. Become an Amazon Prime member. Do your shopping on Amazon. It's I'm serious. A big fan. I know it sounds ridiculous, kind of silly, but that's as far as holiday stress is concerned. I have not shopped in stores during the holidays in about 5 years, and I feel like I added about 5 to 10 years to my life because dealing with the stress of the traffic and going to the store in the madness is just craziness. So I'm a big fan of Amazon. That's another thing. Another thing, basically, listen to music that you enjoy, that you like. If it's on the way to work, if it's on the way home, just listen to music that you really enjoy that takes you away, from all the stresses of life. Listening to music is definitely, I'm a big fan. Reading is amazing. It takes you on a journey that's outside. Because I think some people, will be on our way to work, will be commuting, and we'll just be thinking of all the things that we have to do. Oh, my God, I have to do this, and this. No, wait till you get to work. All the things you need to do are going to be there. Focus. Look at it as a challenge. Itemize what you have to do and do it. You know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Just do it. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like the Nike commercial. Just do it. You know?
And I'm totally guilty of that. I definitely end up thinking about work, you know, on my commute or whenever, just all the time instead of compartmentalizing it. But I really think that that's a very key tip. Now, what about some fitness strategies to help manage stress levels? Something simple, because, you know, nobody's going to take on an active regimen at this time.
Absolutely. I mean,
most people
exercise, and I'll give you some specifics in a moment, but exercise in general, it fills your body with endorphins and adrenaline. And exercise is unbelievable because it actually decreases your stress levels. And it's, in a way, it is a drug, right? It's like kind of like a feel-good drug. So when you exercise, take, you know, just to give you really basics, I'm not going to break down routines for you, take a walk, you know? Like, if you're stressed out in the office, you feel like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this, you know, I'm going crazy, take a 10 to 15 minute walk. You know, get up, take a walk, come back. You'll be more productive when you get back. And if you just stress over all the work that you have to do and you try to just struggle through it, if you take a break, you go out, you walk briskly for 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to come back, you're going to feel better. The other big part of it, you know, obviously as a trainer, I want people to eat healthy, you know, nutrient-dense foods, you know, if at all possible. Please, I think the popular thing for lawyers meeting deadlines is like pizza, bagels, whatever you can grab quickly, you know. But if that's not helping your body from the inside out, you're not going to be as productive or as effective as if you kind of plan ahead and maybe get something healthy, you know, bring some oatmeal to work, you know, maybe you grill some vegetables the night before or some chicken, or find a healthy food. You know, I know a lot of people aren't going to say, I just don't have time to cook. Fine, find a healthy food, plan ahead, find a healthy food restaurant in your area and eat that instead of the kind of go-to pizza and bagels, because you're going to be a lot better off. And try to try to do, you know, just, you know, if you're super busy, okay, walk every day. If you have some time, do some walking, do some strength training, because it's going to fill your body with some endorphins, some adrenaline. And it's kind of like like nature's Prozac called exercise. It's kind of like nature's Prozac.
I like that. That's a great one.
Another thing about stress is, if there's enough of it, it can cause depression. And, you know, a lot of times people don't even realize why they're depressed or why, because they might have, you know, finished all their deadlines and got the work done, and then they just find themselves depressed. You know, and depression is a horrible, horrible thing, and it's almost somewhat unexplainable, you know, and then you have to get back to embracing, you know, the ability to manipulate your perspective and your perception of what things are, because perception is everything. You know, if you are taking care of your body from the inside out, and if you're exercising, and if you're taking care of yourself mentally, you're going to have a more optimistic perspective on things. And what's, you know, I'll say it again, but everybody's perspective is different. So what's stressful for one person is not going to be stressful for another one. You know, if you told me that I have to cook Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow for 15 people, I will be stressed out, you know? but my mom's just like, oh, yeah, no big deal, you know?
Wow, I love that.
Like it's nothing. So it's all perspective, and it's how you look at things. And if you try to maintain, you know, an optimistic perspective on things, and look at work and look at all these things that you have in your life as challenges. And just remember, if you utilize stress correctly, stress will enable you to accomplish more in your life. I utilized before the birth of a child or a wedding or, the bar. Think about how stressed out you were when you were studying for the bar, right? And now you look back on having passed the bar and you look at that as one of the great accomplishments in your life.
So true. So, Jason, hang on one second because I want to remind our listeners, if you have a question that you want to ask Jason, call in right now. It's 347-838-8719 and press 1 to be in the queue. That's 347-838-8719 and press 1 to get in the queue. Jason, so you've really talked about a lot of important things. One thing you keep reiterating is, having the mindset of viewing things as a challenge as opposed to almost like being defeated by them. What's a way that people can see juggling family and obligations and parties and year-end deadlines as a challenge? Like, what's a tip that you might have on how to shift that mindset?
Absolutely. I think the first thing is appreciating all of these things. Appreciating the deadlines because you have a job. Appreciating your family because you have a family. Appreciating your health. So the first thing is to appreciate everything you have. And the other thing is make a to-do list and do the best you can because that's all you can do. And don't waste time worrying because worrying is not going to get things done. Worrying is not going to get your Christmas shopping done. Worrying is not going to get your work done. So a big part of it is going to be, first, appreciate what you have. And I think it's great that the holidays start with Thanksgiving because give thanks for everything you have, man. Give thanks for having a job, for having your health, for having your family, for having friends, for having parties to go to, for having a job to pay you money to be able to afford the gifts that you'd like to buy, right? And kind of get rid of that perfect image, we talked about before, that perfect image of what the holidays are going to be. Because it'll never quite be that perfect. But that's okay. It's kind of like having a spouse. Your spouse will never fit this ultimate perfect picture that you have in the back of your mind. They'll never be perfect. And if you keep looking for a perfect spouse, well, you'll always be alone, right? So it's the same type of thing, but you're not going to get stressed out about it. You have to appreciate the good things about your spouse. And then maybe you could stay married. Same thing about the holiday time.
I love that.
You appreciate the good things about holiday time. You appreciate the lights and the kids, the children, and you appreciate, all the little things, and then you utilize, your time management skills, and you get done as much as you can, and use Amazon for your shopping because I'm telling you, it'll save you a lot of time.
Great, or any other online retailer, I'm guessing. It doesn't have to just be Amazon.
Absolutely.
But,
well, I'm big Amazon fan, but yeah, absolutely. I am a junkie. I'm a Prime member, and I do absolutely all my shopping there.
Great. So, Jason, you're not going to believe it, but we are basically out of time. Tell our audience how they can find you.
Absolutely. Feel free to view my website at fitnessjourneysnyc.com. And by all means, if any of you have a question in regards to fitness, exercise, nutrition, email me at jason@fitnessjourneys.nyc.com. My advice is free. I love what I do, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have, even give specific exercise ideas and nutrition ideas, because I didn't want to do that necessarily over the phone because everybody's different. So if I know more about your body and you as an individual, I can give better advice as far as exercise and nutrition is concerned.
Great, great. So please reach out to him. And let's keep this conversation going, folks. Join us on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, our LinkedIn group, and let's talk about how we can support each other in managing stress. Share your tips, share your ideas on how to manage holiday stress. And you can find links. You can find links to all of our sites on our website, www.esquirecoaching.com. Thank you, everyone. I want to wish Jason, your wife, a happy birthday. I want to wish my sister-in-law, Virginia Spielman, a happy birthday. And I want to wish all of you a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful to have all of you in my life. See you all next week.
Thank you, Ann. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.